we are going to do, I think, some couple of problems. കഴിഞ്ഞ രണ്ട് ക്ലാസ്സിൽ ഞാൻ മൊഡ്യൂൾ 2 എടുത്തതിന്റെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ ജസ്റ്റ് ഒന്ന് മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി കുറച്ച് പ്രോബ്ലംസ് നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാം. ലെറ്റ് മീ ഷെയർ മൈ വിൻഡോ. Okay, so I have presented my window. Let me know if you have any trouble in seeing that. എല്ലാം കാണാം, like just give me a feedback. കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നു? Okay, fine. Okay, so I'm going to write the problem. So basically, this is problem related to our instance relations. Okay, so the problem is like this. So let's the first problem is calculate the ratio of the spontaneous to stimulated emission rates in a tungsten lamp that radiates at an average frequency of 5 into 10 raised to 14 hertz at an operating temperature of 1300 degree Kelvin. That's a question. It's a simple question. Another complication actually. We have seen the installations where we derive the ratio of stimulated emission to spontaneous emission. So, this is the ratio of spontaneous emission to stimulated emission. So if you look at our old equation, so we bring up that equation. So if you look at this equation, ratio of spontaneous emission to stimulated emission to spontaneous emission. So this is basically that equation, okay, which is basically this one. So this is stimulated, and this is spontaneous, okay. But our question that is asked is the ratio of spontaneous to stimulated. Okay, so basically we need to invert this, fine. So let us first write down the parameters that is given. First one it is given is the nu, which is the frequency, that is equal to 5 into 10 raised to 14 hertz. Okay, the next which is given is the temperature, that is 1300 degree Kelvin. Okay, and we know that the ratio B21 rho F divided by A21 is equal to the stimulated emission rate by spontaneous emission rate. So this is the ratio that we have derived, and the ratio is given by 1 by e raised to h nu 1 2, which is basically from energy level 1, so energy level 2 to 1 divided by k into t minus 1. Now, our expression. But the question that we want to find is the opposite one, which is the spontaneous emission rate to the stimulated emission rate, which is equal to A21 by B21 rho F, that is e raised to h nu 12 by kt minus 1. Okay, now it is straightforward. Okay, you don't want to do any kind of like extra manipulation, nothing, because you know the values of everything. So h is the Planck's constant, which is 6.6 into 10 raised to minus 34. So if you're using a calculator, you know that where to find this constant values. Okay, k is the Boltzmann's constant, that is 1.38 into 10 raised to minus 23. Fine. Now you can do one approximation actually. Now this value is very high because it's an exponential value. You can always approximate this, like the total value minus 1, like 1 will be very, very small. So you can always approximate it to be e raised to h nu 12 by k. Okay, so your ratio of A21 by B21 rho F is equal to e raised to 6.6 into 10 raised to minus 34 multiply or divided by 1.38. Sorry, there is one more term which is missing. This is h multiplied by nu, which is this 5 into 10 raised to 14 divided by Boltzmann's constant 1.38 into 10 raised to minus 23 multiplied by the temperature should be in Kelvin. Okay, and please, anybody can please calculate this and let me know the answer. You can give me the answer in e raised to terms, like e raised to something something. Okay, but calculator ഉള്ളവര് ഒന്ന് കാൽക്കുലേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് പറഞ്ഞേ എത്രയാണെന്നുള്ള. എത്രയാണ്? Anybody? Yeah, that is right. So ആദ്യം പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ this term here will evaluate to 18 point, let's say 4. It is actually 18.39. It will be 18.4. So the answer is e raised to 18.4. Okay. Okay. Now let's analyze this problem. Okay. So what it does tell you is the ratio of spontaneous emission, because this is for spontaneous emission and this is for stimulated emission. When you find the ratio of Einstein coefficient of spontaneous emission to stimulated emission, the value is very high. Okay, so e raised to 18 is approximately like maybe like 10,000 times or something like that, or more than that. Or you can like e is approximately 2.7 to 2 raised to 18 is like 2 raised to 10 into 2 raised to 8, which is like 80,000 or 8,000 times. So basically you say that the stimulated or the spontaneous emission is e raised to 18.4, which is approximately, I'm just saying a rough figure, 10 raised to 4 times more than stimulated emission. Okay, the spontaneous emission is this much high, which means that there will not be, or we can say the laser activity is small. Or you will get a non-coherent light or light emission. Okay, so that is how we can, using the Einstein's relations, we can find out whether you have a coherent light emission or a laser activity. So if you just know only the average frequency that is emitting, which is currently in this case, which is this one, and the operating temperature, you can find out whether you are having a lasing activity or a spontaneous emission. Okay, so this is regarding the Einstein relation. Let's do another problem. So this is regarding the last to last class, where we derive the thresholding gain. Okay, so the problem is like this: calculate the mirror reflectances, and we are assuming it to be same. So in bracket you say assume same in a laser 10 centimeter long under threshold conditions that net gain coefficient of the lacing medium is 0.01 centimeter inverse. Okay, so this is the question. So the question says that you want to find the mirror reflectances, or basically the reflectivity of the mirror, and you are assuming that both the mirrors are same in a laser 10 centimeter long under threshold conditions. So we need to know what the threshold condition is, that the net gain coefficient of lacing medium is 0.01 centimeter. So let's recap again. So you have this gain medium which has a gain is equal to G and loss is equal to alpha. Okay, and both sides you have the mirror. Okay, and there is a pumping mechanism which pumps in the energy so that the population inversion happen. Now it will start radiating light of intensity R0. So that's reflectivity R1 is equal to R and R2 is equal to R, because it is already said that in the question they should have the same reflectivity. Okay, now I0 will incident on the first mirror, it will get reflected, then you will get R into I0, it will pass through the gain medium. There is a exponential increase depending on the gain and loss. It will incident on the second one, it will reflect back and comes back to I0. And we found that under thresholding condition, the total gain should be is equal to the total loss. Then only the oscillations will happen. Okay, so that means at round trip, so when the light starts from I0 and comes back to I0, at the round trip, whatever gain has occurred should be equal to the intensity I0. Okay, so if you want to recap, if you go here, we go to this equation, we have an equation which says this. Okay, so this is actually R2 R1 e raised to 2 into G minus alpha L is equal to 1. That's the equation. That's a threshold condition, or you say the gain is equal to the loss. It's already told in the question that the threshold condition, under threshold conditions, there's the net gain coefficient. So net gain coefficient that we'll see what it is. So the lacing net gain coefficient is 0.01 centimeter inverse. So let's write the equations. Okay, first one under threshold condition. So R1, R2 e raised to 2 into G minus alpha into L is equal to 1. This is the threshold condition. Okay. Now we also know that R1 is equal to R2 is equal to, let's say it is R. That is because we have assuming the same reflectance. So I can write this as R square e raised to 2 into G minus alpha into L is equal to 1. Okay. Now net gain coefficient means it is the gain minus loss. ആ മീഡിയത്തിലുള്ള ഗെയിൻ നിന്ന് ലോസ് സബ്ട്രാക്ട് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഉണ്ടാവുന്ന ആ ഒരു നെറ്റ് ഗെയിൻ, അതാണ് നെറ്റ് ഗെയിൻ കോഎഫിഷ്യന്റ്. Okay, so that is already given to you. So this is equal to 0.01. Okay, so let's substitute in the equation. So r square e raised to 2 into 0.01. Now L is the length of the system, or you can say the laser cavity length is L. Okay, so this is equal to 10 centimeter. So L is equal to 0.1 meter. Sorry, 0.01 meter, I think. Okay, so if you substitute this, so let me write it clearly, 0.01 meter. Okay, okay, and there is one more thing that you want to be careful. See, in this one, you see the length is in 0.01 centimeter inverse. So this is actually 0.1 centimeter inverse. We need to make it meter inverse, for which we need to multiply it by, I think, 1000. Okay, so I can convert this into 10 meter inverse. So make sure everything is in the same units before you substitute. So I can substitute this as r square e raised to 2 into 10 into 0.01 is equal to 1 implies. So can you find out what is the value of r? So if you can just look into using the calculator, please try to see what is the value of r. Anybody? Okay, 0.0904. Okay, fine. So yeah, you will get around 0.8 to 0.9. So I'm not, let's say I put as 0.9. Okay, so that is the reflectivity of the medium. Now let's understand what does it mean. Okay, so 0.9 means there is 90% of reflectivity in both the mirrors. So what do you mean by 90% of reflectivity? If I0 has, let's say, 100 photons incident on the mirror on the left side here, then out of 100, 10 photons will go out. and only the rest will come inside. Similarly, in this right hand side, since you have 90% reflectivity, only 10 percentage, or the if you incident 100 photons on this mirror, 10 photons will come out and only 90 photons will go in. So that is basically mean by reflectivity. How much amount of light is reflected back? That's called as reflectivity or reflectance. And how much amount of will be transmitted. So whatever be the reflectivity, that much percentage of light will be reflected back, and rest of the light will be transmitted. Okay, fine. Now let me see. I think I'll give one problem from first module, because I think I haven't done any problems from there. Let me check. Okay, I think this is a very simple problem, but it was asked in one of the exams, semester exams. So I think let us do this. Okay, so very simple problem. The problem is like this. So given the band gap of gallium phosphide is equal to 2.2 electron volt. Now find the wavelength emitted by a gallium phosphide LED. LED or light emitting diode. So this is a problem. So you are given only the band gap. So you are given that there is a band gap, there's a gallium phosphide semiconductor, and there is a band gap for that, and the band gap is 2.2 electron volt. Okay, and you are asked to find the wavelength of the light emitted. So basically, you have EC, EV for gallium phosphide. There's a gap here, this 2.2 electron volt. Now you want to find if an electron makes a transition downwards, what is the wavelength of the photon emitted? Okay, so we know that our band gap Eg is equal to the energy of the photon emitted, where h is the Planck's constant, and nu is the frequency. Right? So if you want to find the wavelength, you need to relate frequency to the wavelength. So we know that c is equal to nu into lambda, and c is the velocity of light, which is 310⁸ meters per second. So I can write nu is equal to c by lambda. Okay, so I can write Eg is equal to h into c by lambda. So I can write lambda is equal to h into c by Eg. Okay. Now Eg, be careful here. Eg is in electron volt, and you cannot substitute directly here because c is in meter per second. You will get lambda in meter. H is in the normal units, the Planck's constant. So you need to convert Eg in electron volt to joules. So I can say Eg is equal to 2.2 electron volt, that is equal to 2.2 into 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 joules. So that is your Eg, and your H is equal to 6.6 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule seconds. And your C is equal to 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. So please substitute these values in this equation and tell me what is the value of. Yeah, that is right. So the value of lambda is approximately whatever you have said, that is 5.6. This is 5.624 into 10 raised to 7. Make sure you write the units, that is in meter. So this is actually 562 nanometer. Okay, so let's understand the problem. So when a spontaneous emission happens in gallium phosphide, the electron jumps from the conduction band to the valence band, emitting a photon which has energy h. So depending on the band gap, we'll see the difference in energy. Now, if you look at the lambda of this is basically a green light. Okay, so basically the gallium phosphide is used to make an LED which emits green light radiation. And so this radiation, which is um, of lambda 562 nanometer, is that of a green light radiation. Okay, fine. So I'll give you one question which again asked in one of the exams. Maybe you can try it at home. Okay, so this is a homework. The thing is, calculate the wavelength associated with a photon absorbed in indium phosphide direct band gap semiconductor with Eg is equal to 1.35 electron volt at room temperature. Okay, so this was asked in, I think, December 2018 optoelectronic exam. So make sure you do this homework. Okay, so sometimes I'll also ask you in the internal exam. So make sure you do the homework. Okay, fine. So I think our time is up. So I don't have enough time to take the next portion. Okay, so please mark your presence. You can mark present, and I think then we will end the session. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, I think we can end. So if you're marked present, I think we'll end the session. So thank you for listening.